The CMA has responded to the EU and their approval of Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. In addition to that, Bobby Kotick has made statements, Lulu Chang-Maservi has made statements. A lot of stuff has been developing over the last 24 hours. Let's go over the reply from the CMA, who is sticking to their guns. So everywhere else seems to have approved it at this point. We'll see what the other jurisdictions say. But here's what the CMA's reply was after I made the video yesterday. They basically said, our response to the European Commission's announcement today on Microsoft Activision. The UK, US, and European competition authorities are unanimous that this merger would harm competition in cloud gaming. The CMA concluded that cloud gaming needs to continue as a free competitive market to drive innovation and choice in this rapidly evolving sector. Microsoft's proposals, accepted by the European Commission today, would allow Microsoft to set the terms and conditions for this market for the next 10 years. They would replace a free, open, and competitive market with one subject to ongoing regulation of the games Microsoft sells, the platform to which it sells them, and the conditions of sale. This is one of the reasons the CMA's independent panel group rejected Microsoft's proposals and prevented this deal. While we recognize and respect the European Commission is entitled to take a different view, the CMA stands by its decision. I have to imagine that the CMA is on a bit of shaky ground at this point. They have an appeal upcoming. There's some pressure about their decision coming down the line. And Vestager did an interview saying, no, they're not like going to go lighter on other deals like this one. This is just an example of their decision in this case. Let's see if my desktop audio actually functions correctly because I have this queued up. It does not. All right, let's fix it really quick. All my audio settings got reset. I apologize for this. I'm just going to leave this in. You guys like it when I have disasters, right? So let's see what happens. Still the wrong audio property. All right, one more try.
License
We did it.
For free for existing and coming games now to be made available. So we think that this is not only sort of solving a problem, it's also pro-competitive. And that for us is a good thing.
So that was Vestager's comments about the situation and where they stand in terms of the market, and it's approved. So here's what Lulu Chang-Maservi had to say. She said, Activision Blizzard plans to meaningfully expand our investment and workforce throughout the EU, and we're excited for the benefits our deal with Microsoft offers players in Europe and elsewhere. Today, the European Commission approved our merger with Microsoft, subject to strict remedies to ensure robust competition continues in our rapidly growing industry. Our talented teams in Sweden, Spain, Germany, Romania, Poland, and other European countries have the skills, ambition, and government support needed to compete globally. And with the EU's firm, yet pragmatic, unbiased, and fact-driven approach to regulation, we expect these European teams to continue delivering growth and innovation going forward. More here. Now, anybody who's against this deal going through, the reason it's getting blocked is because of cloud gaming, of all things. This has nothing to do with PlayStation having restricted access to Call of Duty. This has nothing to do with, PlayStation Plus versus Game Pass. It's just cloud gaming. That's the only thing. And Vestager points out in their findings, it is such a small emerging market that it just doesn't make sense to block it for this, especially when Microsoft is just saying you can license it for free. Like, put it out there, because you still have to buy the game for $70 to have access to it in the cloud, right? So they could eventually have a licensing fee of some sort after this 10-year time period is up, but that'll be a decade from now. I don't remember what happened. I don't remember what I had for breakfast. I skipped breakfast today, actually. Bad idea. Don't do that. Continuing on, Bobby Kotick also wrote some stuff over on the new blog thing they're doing over on Activision. They said, approval in Europe, an update on the Microsoft deal. Regulators in Europe approved the Microsoft merger. We achieved an important milestone, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick writes. I'm just going to continue reading. But before I do, hey, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. If you're already subscribed, hit that like button to help it get shared around. Let's read what Bobby Kotick had to say. Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick sent the following email to employees on Monday. Today, we achieved an important milestone. The European Commission, one of the world's most thorough and respected regulators, approved our merger with Microsoft. This decision underscores the benefits our transaction provides to players and to competition. Careful regulators in numerous other countries have already approved the merger. By joining them today, the EC has once again demonstrated their rigorous, fair, and sensible approach with the creation of appropriate regulatory guardrails that ensure competition in important growth industries. Microsoft has agreed to conditions as part of the EC's approval, including licenses for legitimate cloud gaming providers to stream Activision Blizzard games and enforcement mechanisms to ensure these regulatory commitments are upheld. This important step provides a proper roadmap for regulators around the world to consider when determining how best to encourage and promote competition in the gaming industry. There is still work to be accomplished before our merger can be finalized, but it is encouraging that regulators like the European Commission understand and appreciate the considerable growth opportunities provided by our industry. Thank you for your patience as we work to promote fair, free trade, healthy competition, and a broader recognition for the extraordinary work our people do each day to entertain hundreds of millions of people around the world. So nothing particularly new from Bobby Kotick, in my opinion. He's just kind of saying, oh, wow, look how good the EU did. We really appreciate them approving the deal. They were really tough on us, but in the end, we got it done. So kind of rah-rah the troops, I imagine, for Activision over there. I highlighted this. I don't know if this is different than what we just read from the official post, but gamesindustry.biz also had the following. The UK, US, and European competition authorities are unanimous that this merger would harm competition in cloud gaming. I think this is just a paraphrase of their tweet, but to recap, the CMA concluded that cloud gaming needs to continue as a free. It's the same thing. Sorry. I had that up because I thought it was different, but now reading them side by side, it's the same thing they tweeted. Now, the CMA pointed out that before CAT, they were specifically warned about the thing that they just did. Now, this comes from somebody that's a big Xbox fan. It's Senjutsu Sage, but he pointed out this in the legal documents from the Giphy and Meta case. Microsoft pointed CMA to this exact CAT paragraph before its decision as a warning. Intervention may well be necessary and must occur where the statutory tests are met, but equally intervening where it is unnecessary, where the statutory tests not be met, can be as damaging. In this case, for instance, the outcome of the decision is an interference in a merger situation that is largely taking place outside the jurisdiction. We are in no doubt that there is jurisdiction for the CMA to intervene in this case, but the demands of committee do require the CMA to be at least conscious of the international dimension. Although we were not addressed on this in any detail, we understand that such considerations do pertain. So I have to imagine they're going to use this as ammunition during the appeal process because everywhere else in the world has approved it now, except the CMA. The FTC sued before they even heard from Microsoft, so they didn't even know anything about the deal. They did, to be fair, and they're just like, we're not even going to talk to Microsoft. We don't want to make any concessions. We just want to sue to block. So the FTC did that. The CMA blocked, but like Brazil approved. You can go look at all the videos of the other places that approved. So the EU is approved, Brazil approved. We're still waiting on China. We're still waiting on New Zealand. There's some other territories that still could block, but for the most part, nobody's seen an issue with this going through. It's so strange to me that now every announcement is going to be like, oh, we looked at cloud gaming, you know, the thing that Xbox has like 5,000 people playing. And yeah, we made sure that they were able to license their stuff. I think it's a growing market. It's just, it's strange for me to be like cloud gaming is the thing that did it. Anyway, the demands of committee required the CMA to consider the international dimension carefully, particularly given that the merger situation is taking place outside the jurisdiction and the UK accounts for only blank percent of COD revenues and blank percent of global COD monthly active users. Based on 2022 COD MAUs and revenues, See Meta Platforms Inc. June 2022 paragraph. Intervention may well be necessary and must occur where the statutory tests are met, but equally intervening where it is unnecessary, where the statutory tests may not be met, can be damaging. In this case, for instance, the outcome of the decision is an interference in a merger situation that is largely taking place outside the jurisdiction. So recapping what was said earlier. There have been other reactions, though, from press and such. So here's what Andy Robson had to say, and I made a joke about it. I find it really difficult to believe that the UK is going to put itself in the position where Microsoft could be forced to spin off a special Activision Blizzard UK and give every country caught on Game Pass except UK consumers. But then again, Britain, I said, sure would be crazy if they put themselves in that position. Eh? Today, they had the opportunity to pedal it back or, you know, make some sort of other statement. They're like, nope, we're gonna take it to the tribunal. And I have to imagine politically, the CMA is now in an interesting spot. Do they admit that they were wrong and backpedal? Or do they just wait till it goes to tribunal and hope their case is upheld and then deal with whatever the fallout's going to be? I mean, what Microsoft decides to do in this situation is going to be very interesting. Florian Mueller said the following: the CMA is being the CMA. Instead of recognizing its error, it seeks to defend the indefensible and to rationalize the irrational. Microsoft setting the terms, it's a free streaming license for end users. The tribunal won't be impressed. The government shouldn't either. So he's basically saying when this gets to the tribunal, they're probably not going to like what has transpired thus far. So the EU approved today, but you know what? Stephen Totilo pointed out that notable that just as Microsoft can and will appeal the UK decision, third parties, including Sony, can appeal the EU decision. No word, if any, will. There's IDIS outlined this whole thing that they would have to do that. But it is possible that Sony could go appeal the decision that just went through today. And finally, Rick Hogue had a reaction. Seems the adults have entered the room. What's truly remarkable here is that we are barely a few years removed from the EU being thought of as the hostile jurisdiction that required the most merger concern planning. And then Rick Hogue says, I've read the CMA's entire report. It's not a difference in philosophy that results in such poor decision making. It's motivated reasoning. When regulators start from their conclusion, condescension is the most genteel. Oh, he's a smart man. I do not know these words. Condescension is the most genteel of possible responses. Rick, that's a very smart way to say it. He's still got the lawyer. He's still got the lawyer stuff. But anyway, he's basically saying like he still doesn't agree with the CMA, and I think most of us are still confused a little bit by how the CMA came to that conclusion. Because remember, all the stuff that people were saying leading up to this, it had nothing to do with cloud gaming. Nobody online was talking about cloud gaming. Nobody thought that was a big deal. It was the CMA thought it was a big deal, and everyone's like, I didn't see anybody latching on to the whole cloud gaming angle, but here we are. And that is the thing that people are super concerned about. That whole industry could fall apart in the next 5 years. I think it's pretty cool. I do think it's an emerging market, especially in lower income countries where, you know, you don't have access to a console, or it's really prohibitive to get a console, but maybe you have a mobile phone and a controller that you can pair to it. And then you can get access to this huge library of games. That's really interesting to me. But then you also have the other side of it where you have bad internet connections there. So is the streaming impacted? The requirement for streaming is like 10 up, I think, and 10 down, or maybe even less than that. So the barrier to entry is pretty low, but that's where we're at today in time. Anyway, we'll see what transpires over the next 10 years. If you watched this far, hey, you rock. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell if you like the content. If you didn't, you don't have to, but it does help. And if you're already subscribed, hit that like button to get the video shared around some more. A big thank you to all the members for supporting me all this time. Thank you to the members. Hit that join button. If you want to become a member and you're like, Destin, you have too many ads on your videos, join the memberships then, or get YouTube Red. Like there's other things you can do, but I post all these ad free for the members. Thank you so much to the members. And also I'm going to get out of here. So check out yesterday's video talking about the decision and the announcement about the decision over there. I read the whole thing. So you should be all up to date on what is going on. We'll see what happens with the appeal process, and we'll see what happens with the FTC. We got a lot more to cover here about this case. So thank you for watching. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.